Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be doing the Bandit war game on OverTheWire.org. This is basically a war game where it's going to be about 33 levels, starting from level 0 all the way down to level 33, and at each level we're going to be doing a specific challenge outlined by the level that we're on. This game is going to basically work on the Linux commands, for example, how to change directories, how to read files, how to write to files, how to write programs, how to execute programs, how to look at permissions, etc. Right? So this is going to basically go over the fundamentals required to do more complex challenges like what I did in my previous video. If you found my previous video a bit too complex or you didn't understand what I was doing, then this video is basically going to be a foundational video that will help you better understand what I was doing in my other videos as you learn more and more, right? So at each level, we're going to be learning something new, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get started. As you can see, there's a lot I have to go through here. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm probably going to do all the way down to like level 15, and then I'm going to stop, and we're going to continue next time, right? So hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. You can tell I don't script these videos. Let's just go to level 0 here. Okay, so it says, the goal of this level is for you to log into the game using SSH. The host to which you need to connect is bandit.labs.overthewire.org on port 2220. The username is bandit0 and the password is bandit0. Once logged in, go to level 1, a page to find out how to beat level 1. Alright, so if you watched my previous video, you know how to connect through SSH into a computer. You need to first type in SSH, then you have to type in the command. As you can see here, you have to do bandit0. That's the username. And then you have to specify the server name, which is bandit.labs.overthewire.org. And then you have to specify the port, which is 2220. The reason we're specifying the port here is that if you don't specify the port, it's going to default to the default port of SSH, which is 22. But in this case, we have to connect to port 2220, as it says here, right? So we're going to do that, and if you press enter, it's going to try to connect via SSH into this server as this user, right? And if you want to connect as bandit0, we obviously need to know what bandit0's password is, but they already gave it to us. It's bandit0. So we're going to type it in, bandit0, hit enter. And as you can see earlier on, I had the I already did a couple of these challenges. It's because I was trying to basically do the challenges and then go through them in the video so that you guys can better understand, right? If I was trying to solve them normally, it would make the video a lot longer, right? So that's why you saw something earlier on. Alright, so we're in bandit0 right now. If you want to see the current working directory, all you have to do is type in pwd. That basically gives you the directory you're in right now. So it's home bandit0. In Linux, every user on the machine has their own folder inside of the home directory. Okay, so if you hear me saying directory and folder, you can use them interchangeably. Folders, it's what a directory is called in Windows, but now we use Linux, so I'm referring to folders as directories. So I hope that doesn't confuse you, but that's basically what I'm trying to say. And just to demonstrate that every user has a folder on the Linux machine, or has a folder inside of the home directory, we're going to go back up a directory. So we're going to say change directory ... So what this means is that go back up one level. So right now we're at bandit0. If we go back 1, we're going to be in home. As you can see, we're in home now. If you want to see all the stuff inside of home, we're going to say ls, right? And this is everything that's inside of home. As you can see, all these are users on this Linux machine. Right now we're logged in as bandit0. So we're going to go back in there. So we're going to say change directory, bandit0. Alright, so now that we're inside of bandit0, let's actually get to the challenge, because we haven't been doing that right now. So to go from level 0 to level 1, it says that the password for the next level is stored in a file called readme, located in the home directory. Okay. Okay, so we're in this directory. If you want to see what's inside of this directory, we're in Bandit 0. Remember that? So we're gonna press ls, and we see this thing over here. This is a file, as you can see. It's called readme. So this thing's a file. If you want to read what's inside of that file, you can use the cat command. So we're gonna say cat readme. So what this is basically gonna do is that it's gonna show us what's inside of the readme file. If I hit enter, we have the password for Bandit 1. So we're gonna copy that, and we're gonna exit. Exit basically is gonna make us leave the machine. We're no longer gonna be connected as Bandit 0 because we want to change the user, right? We're gonna say exit, and then we're gonna try to connect to Bandit 1 using the password we just found. Alright, so we're connected as Bandit 1. And I know I'm talking a lot here, but I'm just gonna go over something. Secure shell, or basically SSH, is a method for us to connect to a computer as a specific user, right? Earlier on, we connected to the machine being the actual server called banditlabs.overthewire.org, okay? We connected to that machine as Bandit 0, right? Because we try to connect to that machine as Bandit 0, so we had to type in the password, then we connected and we were Bandit 0 on that machine. Now we connected and we logged in as Bandit 1 on that machine, right? So that's what it does, and it also hides the connection, or encrypts the connection between us and that machine. So if that's a bit confusing, don't worry about it. That's basically what SSH is. So when we say we're using SSH, that's what we're trying to tell you guys. All right. So for level 1 to level 2, it says the password for the next level is stored in a file called dash, located in the home directory. So let's just look what's inside of the Bandit 1 directory. So I'm gonna say ls. And as you can see, we have this. I don't know if this is. Let me just make this bigger. And I'm gonna zoom in because I feel like it might be too small. So ls, as you can see, we have this this file called dash, and just like we did before, if you want to read that file, I'm gonna say cat dash. But if we say cat dash, it's actually not gonna work. Let me just show you guys. See, it's not showing us what's inside. The reason it's not working is because dash means something specific in Linux, so it doesn't know what we're trying to talk about. It's saying, are you referring to something else, or what does this dash mean? So since there are multiple meanings to this dash, if we want to specify this dash is referring to the name of the file in the Bandit1 directory. In order to do that, we have to specify the path. So we can do that by saying cat, and then we're going to say dot, which means this directory. And then inside this directory, we have something called dash. So this basically specifies where this dash is located, right? So it won't get confused. It's going to know exactly which dash we're referring to. We're referring to the file that has a dash name, right? So I hope you guys understand that. If we hit enter, we're going to get the password for Bandit 2. We're going to copy, and then we're going to exit, and we're going to try to connect to Bandit 2, right? So we're going to connect to Bandit 2. And then we're going to type in the password, or we're just going to paste it because we already had it copied. And we're logged in as Bandit 2. So let's go to level 2 to level 3. It says the password for the next level is stored in a file called spaces in this file name. Okay. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at what's inside of the Bandit 2 directory. We're going to say ls. Again, we have a file called spaces in this file name. So if you want to look at what's inside of that file, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say cat spaces in this file name. If we hit enter on that, as you can see, there's another problem. It looked like on the first line, the cat command, or the cat program, tried to the cat program thought that spaces was a file, in was a separate file, this was a separate file, and file name was a separate file. That's why it tried to, for example, it says cat spaces no such file in directory. It's saying that there's no file called space, and then in the next line it says there's no file called in, and then the next line says there's no file called this, right? So it thinks that each one of those is a separate file that we're trying to read. If we want to say that spaces in this file name, like this whole thing is the name of one file, we have to add quotations because of the spaces, right? So we're gonna say single quote, double or single quote, they both work. Spaces in this file name, okay, and then hit enter, and then we get the password. So just for you guys to know, every time you have if you want to read a file that has spaces in the file name, you have to use double quotes. You have to use single double quotes around the name in order to specify that it's the name of one file. All right, so we're gonna copy this. We're gonna exit, and we're gonna try to log in as Bandit 3. I apologize if I'm going a bit fast because I'm trying to go through these. All right, so we're in Bandit 3. Let's see what Bandit 3 is saying. If you have any questions regarding what I'm doing, you can leave a comment and I'll respond to every comment. So for level 3 and level 4, it says the password for the next level is stored in a hidden file in the in here directory. All right. So we're gonna again connect to Bandit 3. We're already connected to Bandit 3. So we're gonna look at what's inside of the Bandit 3 directory. So I'm gonna say ls, and then there's a folder called in here. So let's change directories into that directory. So we're gonna say cd in here. All right. We're gonna change directories there, and then we're gonna look at what's inside of in here. And it might seem like there's nothing there, right? Just to let you know, ls basically only shows you files that are not hidden right now. Since there are no non-hidden files, we have to check if there are hidden files. In order to do that, all we have to do is ls-a. ls-a basically shows you all the hidden files in a directory, if there are any, right? We're gonna hit enter, and as you can see, there's one called .hidden. Let's read that file. So again, in order to read the file, we're gonna say cat.hidden, hit enter, and we get the password for Bandit 4. So we're gonna exit, and we're gonna connect to Bandit 4. Now that we're logged in as Bandit 4, we're gonna go to level 4 to level 5. It says the password for the next level is stored in only human readable file in the in here directory. Tip: if your terminal's messed up, try the reset command. All right. So this is basically saying if your terminal gets really messy, you can press reset to clean it up. So again, we're gonna look inside of the Bandit 4 directory. So we're gonna say ls. It's in here. We're gonna change directory to in here. We're gonna look at what's inside of in here, and as you can see, there are a bunch of files. Just a quiz. If I wanted to open any one of these files, would cat-file00 work? What do you guys think? All right, so if I did this, it wouldn't work because remember it has a dash. So if a file name has a dash, in order to actually read it, you have to specify where it's located. So we're gonna have to say from this directory. Inside of it, there's something called file00. We don't know if this one's gonna be human readable. It says that only one of these will be human readable, but let's look at it. As you can see, that's definitely not human readable. It looks like garbage, right? So again, you can go through them one by one to try to find which one is human readable, but I'm pretty sure there's a command you can use to find which one is human readable directly. You can use a find command. You can say find dot, which means in this directory. Okay, the type of the file is F. I mean, it's not a directory, right? So we're saying the type is a file. Okay, it's in this directory. And actually, I won't do this right now because we're gonna use a find later on. I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna say, let's just go through them one by one. So I'm gonna say cat. We already know this one is not human readable, so let's go to the next one. File 01. That's not human readable, so let's just file 2. That's not human readable, so let's go file 3. That's not human readable, so let's go to file 4. That's not human readable. 5, 6, 7. Alright, so this is the one that has the actual password. So we're gonna copy that. And oh yeah, we could have actually used find here, which is kind of annoying. Let's just go back here. So we have the password, but if you wanted to use the find command, you can say find, and then now we have to specify starting from where. So we're gonna say starting from this directory, space, and then let's just specify that we don't care about directories. All we will care about is a file. So the type should be file. So we're gonna say dash type and space F for file, and then we're gonna say we're gonna pipe that. So what this command does is that it's saying when you find all the files in this directory, pass them into this part of the command, right? So we're gonna pass them in to xargs, or was it what was the other one? Xargs file. There we go. Yeah. So there's a find dot dash type f. So this is gonna give me back all the stuff inside of the current directory that is of type file, and then I'm gonna say within those, give me the one that is human readable. That's what the xargs is doing here. I'm gonna hit enter, and basically it goes through all of them and it tells me what they are. So the first one is data, the second one is just data, the third one is data. This one is ASCII text. ASCII text means it's human readable, guys. So that means this is the one that works. And as you can see, that's the one we actually got. So it's the dash file 071. So that's one way you can use find. Again, there's many ways you can do it, but I'm trying to keep it brief here. So we're going to first exit, and then we're going to connect to Bandit 5. So let's go to Bandit 5. We're going to paste the password. Oh, it's wrong for whatever reason. Let's just check why. Let's just do the earlier command. Maybe the space here that got it kind of confused. So let's just say cat. Now let's connect back to. That's annoying. It was this, right? I'm pretty sure. So let's just copy this again. OverTheWire has a strange issue where it doesn't. It sometimes it pastes, but it's not over the wire, but it's just I don't know. I've noticed this issue where I can't copy and paste sometimes. All right, so now it worked for whatever reason, right? So that's yeah. Let's just continue. So level 5 to level 6. It says the password for the next level is stored in a file somewhere under the in here directory and has all the following properties. It's human readable. It's non-executable, and it's 1033 bytes in size. Alright, so this one we'd have to use a find command. So if I press ls to look at what's inside of Bandit 5, it's in here, change the directory to in here directory, and then check what's inside of there. And we have many directories, right? So I'm using Kali Linux. So in Kali Linux, all directories are colored blue, right? So if it's colored blue, that means it's a directory. So we don't want to go through every single one, right? So we don't want to go inside of the maybe here 00 directory, check what's in there, and then check what's in every single one of these, because that would be a pain, right? So now we're going to use the find command. So we're going to say find in this directory, so the one that we're in, Then what we're gonna say is we're gonna say find that dot, which means this directory, and then it gave us a specific thing to look for. So we're saying find something that's 1033 bytes in size. So again, we're looking for a file. So I'm gonna say type is gonna be f, so file, and we're gonna say size. Again, if you want to look at what the options are for the find command, you can look at the man page by saying man find, and then you can look at all the options you have there. So we're gonna say dash size, and then it's supposed to be 10,033 bytes, right? If you want to specify bytes, we have to type in C. We're going to say the number, and then we're going to say C. So this is basically saying that the size should be 1033 bytes, right? Not megabytes, not gigs. We're saying bytes. So 1033 bytes. That's what the C means. And we're saying that it shouldn't be executable, so we're going to say not. If you're someone who's programmed before, you know what the not command does. It means that do the opposite. So we're going to say not executable, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was like. Let's just check. Hit enter. And there we go. So it's basically telling us that this is a location. So it's saying in this directory, inside of that, look inside of the maybe here 07, and inside of that, there's something called .file2. So that's a file that contains a password. If you want to read it, we're going to say cat, and then we're going to specify where it's located, right? So we're going to say it's in this directory, look inside of the maybe here 07, and inside of that, it's going to be the file 2. And there we go. So we got the password for Bandit 6. We're going to copy that. We're going to exit, and we're going to try logging in as Bandit 6. Let's just paste that in. Now that we're inside of Bandit 6, let's look at the challenge for Bandit 6. It says the password for the next level is stored somewhere on the server and has all the following properties. So it's owned by the user Bandit 7, it's owned by the group Bandit 6, and it's 33 bytes in size. So again, same thing. So we're going to say ls to see what's inside of the Bandit 6 directory. We can't really see anything here, so maybe let's look back here. Yeah, so it's saying it's owned by the user. So since there's nothing in here, let's look at hidden files. Alright, so these are just default files, so don't worry about these. These are not important here. So we're basically going to say find, instead of saying dot now, we're going to say slash. So slash means look at starting from the top of the file system. So basically it's saying inside of this bandit.labs.overthewire.org server, look at all the files. And we want, it's going to be a file again. So we're going to say type f. So it's going to be a file we're looking for. And we're saying that it's owned by the user Bandit 7. So if you want to specify the user, let me just find how to the option for that. So we say man find, and let's figure out how to specify the user. I can't remember how you do that. I think it was users or something that would just, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's user. Let's just make sure. Yeah, see, so dash user means file is owned by user uname. So it's going to be dash user, and then we have to specify the name of the user. And for a group, I think it was the same thing. Yeah, it is basically the same thing. I remember that. So we're going to say find at the top of the file, starting from the top of the file system. It has to be a type file, and after it has to be a type, it has to be a file. What did we just do here? We said dash file. We have to say that the user was what again? It was Bandit 7. Bandit 7. And the group was Bandit 6. and the size was 33 bytes in size. So again, remember how we do that? We're going to say 33, and since it's bytes, we're going to put C. So this should give us back the uh, the file that had the password. So we're gonna hit enter on that. Yeah, the issue is we didn't clean it up, so it shows us all the times I tried to look at a file and it wasn't allowed to. So we basically have to just read through here. Just read through here. There's a way you can clean this up, but I'm kind of lazy, so I won't do that. So permissions, okay, this denied, this denied, this denied, this denied, this denied. We're gonna ignore the ones that have permission denied on them. Okay. Did we do something wrong? Uh, yeah, I feel like we did something wrong here. Let's just look at that. It's owned by Bandit 7. It's owned by the group of Bandits 6, and it's 33 bytes in size. Yeah, I feel like we wrote. I feel like we should have found it. So let's figure out why that happened. Um, let's get rid of the file type. 33 bytes. The group was Bandit 6. The user was Bandit 7. I don't know. Let's get rid of this. Back here it says owned by group Bandit 6, owned by user 7. 33 bytes in size. That's oddly strange. Let's clear this. So what's wrong with what we did? So we have Bandit 6. Let's look at the man page again. Man find grep. Looking for. I don't want to look through the whole thing, so I'm going to say specifically look for lines that have. That's what a grep command does. It helps you look for specific parts. So I'm going to say grep for group. Yeah, so it is group. So I don't understand why didn't it work. So we're gonna go back here. Let's just say this directory. No, obviously that didn't work. Um, user is Bandit 7. The group is Bandit 6. The size is 33 bytes. So that's weird. Here's Bandit 6. Password for next level storage among the server. All font properties owned by. Let's just try that again. Um, Let's try that again. Hopefully, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe it's actually in here. I just didn't. It's a lot of permission denied. Maybe it's one of them that works. Permission. Oh yeah, it actually gave it to us. It was right here. So yeah, so all these permission denied statements made it hard to find it. But as you can see, this one doesn't have permission denied, so we can actually read this one. So yeah, guys, there is a specific way you can use to hide all these permission denied statements, but I'm not using it here, right? So I'm just gonna use this path. So let's just copy it, and we're gonna cat that command. Let's clear the page. Clear. Let's say cat, and we're gonna paste in here, and we got the password for Bandit 7. So let's just copy that, and let's exit and log into Bandit 7. Not 67, damn it. Bandit 7. Oh, oh my god. Linux is not being kind to me today. And we're going to paste it in here. And we're going to log in as Bandit 7. Alright, so let's go to the next level. So Bandit 7 to level 8. It says the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt next to the word millionth. Alright, so let's do the same thing. Let's look at what's inside of the Bandit 7 directory. ls, it says data.txt. And if you want to find information about a file, all you have to do is say file data.txt, right? So you can say file, the file program is going to basically give us information about this file over here, right? So we're going to press enter. It's saying it's Unicode text. So if we cat that out, as you can see, it's pretty big, right? It's a very large file. It's still going, so I'm just gonna stop. So in order to stop a program from running, I'm gonna hold Control C. Oh, I didn't even do that. I already ended. All right. So the challenge is basically saying it's the password for the next level is stored in the data.txt next to the word millionth, right? So one thing we can do is that we can say cat data.txt, and then using the pipe command. So basically, it's saying take all the content of data.txt, and in here we can say grep. Grep is basically a command like we used earlier that looks for specific like words and lines inside of the file. We're saying take all of this whole file, and look for lines that have millionth, right? Because we already know that the password is close to millionth. I think it said close or it said next to. I don't know. It's next to the word millionth, right? So if we find the line that has millionth, we're gonna also find the password next to it, right? So if we hit enter on that, we found millionth, and next to it we have this line over here, which is basically going to be the password for the next level. Let's copy that. We're gonna hit exit, and we're gonna log in as Bandit 8. I'm gonna paste that, and we're logged in as Bandit 8. Let's go to the next level. The password for next level is stored in the file data.txt. It is the only line of text that occurs only once. Okay, so this one's a bit different. Let's just go back, and just like always, let's look at what's inside of the Bandit 8 directory. It's still the data.txt file. Is it the same one? Let's just check. So let's get information about it using the file program. Yeah, oh, this one's ASCII text. The last one was Unicode, is ASCII. Let's just look at it. Cat data.txt. And yeah, so this one, so apparently one of these is going to be the password, and it's going to be the one that only occurs once. So in order to do that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sort this out, because if we sort it out, what's going to end up happening is that all the lines that occur multiple times are going to be next to each other, so they're not going to be unique, are they? And then we can specify and try to find the one that's unique. So in order to do that, we're going to use the sort command. It's a program that sorts the file. So we're going to say sort data.txt, So just gonna sort the data out. If I press enter, as you can see, all of these aren't our passwords because they're repeating multiple times, right? So that's what the sort did for us. I'm pretty sure it's pretty self-explanatory why it puts all the duplicates on top of each other, because it's sorting them out and they're equal, so that if this line is in this, it's supposed to be here in the order it's using, then obviously its copy is going to be next, right? Then that's how it's going. It still might be hard to find the one that's unique because they're very similar. So we're gonna first say sort data.txt, and then we're gonna pipe that, okay, into a program called unique. I think it already mentions here. It says you can use a unique command. So the unique command, basically, let's look at the man page. Let's just clear this. Let's look at the man page of unique. It says it reports or omits repeated lines. And if you go down, we have this option over here, which says only print unique lines, right? So what we can do, as you might have already guessed, we're going to say sort data.txt, and then we're going to say unique-u, because what this is going to do is that it's going to sort the file. So we're going to have all the duplicates on top of each other, and then it's going to look for the one that doesn't repeat itself, right? You might be asking, why do we have to use a sort command? Why can't we just say unique right away? It's because the unique command only gives you the unique line when the file is sorted, right? So that's just how the program works. If we hit enter on that, we get the unique line. So this line is the only line that didn't repeat more than once. So that should be the password. I'm going to copy that. And then we're going to exit, and we're going to log in as Bandit9. Hope you guys are benefiting. I'm going a bit... I don't know if I'm going fast. Let me know. To SSH Bandit9 at bandit.labs@overthewire.org. What's going on here? Yeah, why did that happen? I basically did the same command twice. That's kind of weird. Anyway, we're just gonna paste that. We're gonna hit enter, and we're Bandit9. So let's just go to that level. So it's Bandit9 to Bandit10. And it's saying the password for next level is stored in the file data.txt in one of the human readable strings preceded by several equal signs. Okay, so let's look at what's inside of the Bandit9 directory. So we can say ls. We have data.txt. Let's look at the information about that file using file. So I'm going to say file data.txt, hit enter on that, and it's data. So what that means is that it's not English, right? It's going to be a bunch of gibberish. So let's just show you how it's going to look like. It's going to be, let's just look at what's inside of the data.txt file, hit enter on that, and yeah, so that's definitely not readable. Wait a second, I think we already found it. Yeah, so this is basically the password. I don't know. Yeah, okay, we kind of got lucky there, but I'm going to show you where you can actually find it. So since this is data, you can use a program called strings. What strings is going to do is that it's going to give you all the human readable sections of this file, right? So as you can see, most of it is garbage. Some of it you can tell it has Z, it has J, it has Q. Some of it is readable. So in order to get only the readable sections of a data file, you can use strings followed by the file you're trying to read. So I'm going to say strings data.txt. So this is the human readable section. And as you can see here, let's go back. It says the password is preceded by several equals characters. And if you look here, there's one that's preceded by it. It's this line over here. So this is the password for Bandit 10. And if you want to make it even clearer, you can pipe that, or you can pass this output over here. You can pass all of this into a program called grep that we used earlier, and we can say grep for equals, right? So if we do that, it's going to give us all the lines that have like a bunch of equal signs. And as you can see, it says the password is, and then we have this line over here, right? So it basically gave us all the lines that have equal signs, and since we already know that the password has a bunch of equal signs before it, we can logically conclude that this is the password. So that's the stuff we had here. So let's exit and connect as Bandit 10. Like I said, this war game is very Linux heavy, so it's if you don't know how Linux works, you're gonna learn a lot from this CTF. You can try it yourself as well if you want to get practice with it. Let's just go to level 10, 11. Then it says the password for next level is stored in the data.txt files, which contains base64 encoded data. All right, so this is the first time I'm going to be dealing with base64 data. So first, let's look at what's inside of the Bandit 10 directory. So I'm going to say ls. There's a data.txt file. Let's look at the information about this file. So file data.txt. It's ASCII text. So let's just cat it out and see what's inside of it. And we have this long text here. But then here, it's telling us that it's base64 encoded, right? So this is not the actual password. Just for a note for you guys to remember, if a string has like uppercase, lowercase, like letters, and at the end it has a couple of equal signs, it's probably base64 encoded, right? So just keep that in mind next time you do any other challenge, because it might come in handy. It will come in handy actually, because I have experience with that. So in order to actually decode this, we can use a program called base64 with the -d option, and then we're going to specify the file. So I'm going to say data.txt. So base64, if you want to read more about it, you can look at the man page. But base64 is a program that you can use to encode normal text into base64 or decode it. So in this case, you want to decode it. That's why we use the -d option, and then we specify the file name. So if we hit enter on this, we're going to get the actual password. And then it says, oh, it decoded this whole thing over here. So it said the password is this over here. So we can just copy that. We can exit. And we're going to log in as Bandit 11. And the password, we're just going to type in the password, paste. We're going to log in. And we're logged in as Bandit 11. So let's just see Bandit 11. It says the password for next level is stored in the file data.txt, where all lowercase A to Z and uppercase A to Z letters have been rotated by 13 positions. Okay. Again, let's look at what's inside of the Bandit 11 directory. So I'm going to say ls. This data.txt. I'm not gonna look at what's information about it because we already have enough information. Let's just do it. File data.txt. It's ASCII text. Let's just cat it out. txt. So we have this thing over here. This line that looks kind of nonsense, but it's saying all the lowercase A to Z and uppercase A to Z letters have been rotated by 13 positions. If you don't know what that is, let me just Google that right now. ROT13. So ROT13 again is a type of encoding. ROT13. No, I want the Wikipedia, man. So you can read about this. It's basically did they already provide a link to this Wikipedia page? Yeah, they already did. Whatever. So we're here anyway. So this Wikipedia page is basically going to give you a brief description of how the ROT13. It's a substitution. It's a simple letter substitution cipher, right? So it's a method to hide or to hide passwords, and it does it by taking a letter and then rotating it 13 times, right? So if we're at A, it's gonna go B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down 13 letters, and it's gonna change that position, right? So you can read about it here, but since we know it's ROT13 encoded, then we can basically use a online decoder. Just copy this and figure out what the actual password was. So let's just go back. I'm gonna say ROT13 decoder. And let's just paste it in here. And as you can see, the plain text is the password is that. Let's just copy that. And now we have the password for Bandit 12. So let's log in as Bandit 12. paste that in. We hit enter on that, and we're logged in as Bandit 12. So let's go to Bandit 12. Then it says the password for next level is stored in the file data.txt, which is a hex dump of a file that has been repeatedly compressed. For this level, it may be useful to create a directory under the temp in which you can work using makedir. For example, makedir temp my name, etc. Right. So this is the first time we're going to be using the makedir command. Let's just check what's inside of the Bandit 12. Okay, so there's still a data.txt file. Let's look at it. Data.txt. It's ASCII. Let's look at that data.txt. So this is gonna be a hex dump, right? So this this might look very intimidating, but this is basically a representation of a data file. It's called a hex dump, as you can already see over here. It's called a hex dump, and it's saying that this file is repeatedly compressed, right? If you know the XXD program, let's look at the man page. Let's clear this man XXD. It's a program that allows us to make a hex dump of a file or reverse it back to the data, right? Since it's a hex dump, we want to turn it back to how it was before, right? We want to turn it back to its binary data. In order to do that, we have this R option, -R option, which says reverse operation, convert or patch hex dump into binary. So binary is that rubbish that we saw earlier on, where we had a bunch of like stars and stuff like that. So let's first create a directory inside of temp. So the temp folder in Linux is a folder that we can create files in. We can create directories inside of that folder, and the reason we can do that is because the temp folder is created for that purpose. So we can create anything we want here. If we try to create a file inside of this directory, it wouldn't work. So we have to create it inside of the temp directory. That's just how this Bandit server works, right? So let's create one. So we're gonna say makedir inside of the temp, and this is called the absolute path. Again, if you want to learn what absolute path is, you can just look that up. I'm not gonna really explain it here. So I'm gonna say makedir temp, and let's call our directory work. Hit enter. It says a file already exists. Okay, that's kind of weird. So I'm gonna make their let's call it hours. All right, so now we have a directory called hours. Let's change it. Let's change to that directory. So we're gonna say temp hours. Okay. So yeah. So again, I don't want to go into too much detail, but the reason we're using this / instead of doing something like that is because the temp directory is not directly accessible by the directory that we're in right now. So that's basically why I'm using the / in the beginning. If it was accessible from this directory directly, I would just have to do this and it would work. But since it isn't, that's why we're using the /. So temp hours, we can change directory to that. And again, since we're here, let's basically copy the using the cp command. We're going to copy the original file, which was the data.txt. Again, we're not there, so we have to specify the path, which is home. Copy the one that's in home, and it was in Bandit 12, and it was called data.txt. We're going to copy it here. So this dot means this directory, like I said earlier. If we press ls to see what's inside of the hours directory that we created, we have the data.txt file here now. Since this is a hex dump, we want to revert it back. So we can use the xxd command, -r. So it means use xxd program with the -r option. And we're going to reverse the hex dump back to binary. So it's a data.txt. But now, if we just press enter on this alone, it would just print out how this would look like when it's just binary. It wouldn't actually change this file. So in order to actually have a file, which is the binary representation of this hex dump, we have to create another file, right? So we're gonna say xxxd -r data.txt, and we're gonna throw all of that. So what this command does is saying put all this on the left. Okay, this command, the output of this command, put it inside of a file that we call data, or we can say data. Let's call it data binary. Okay. Now we press ls and we cat data binary. As you can see, it's actually the binary representation of this original hex dump file. So now that we have that, file, let's look at what it is. So we're gonna say file data binary, and it's saying it's a JZip compressed data. So since it's a gzip compressed data, we want to decompress it, right? But we can't really decompress it right now because it doesn't have the extension for gzip files. So let's give it that extension. In order to do that, we can use the move command. So I'm going to say data binary. That's the original file name, and we want to name it binary, and we're going to give it the JZip extension because it is a JZip compressed data file, right? So the JZip file extension is GZ, right? So that's how you know it's a JZip compressed file. We're going to press enter, ls again, and as you can see now it's a JZip. We gave it the extension, so it turned red. So now the operating system knows that this is a JZip compressed file, and since we know it's compressed, let's decompress it. So we're gonna do it using the JZip program. JZip, I keep calling it JZip, it's gzip, and then we want to decompress it. So we're gonna say -d. Again, if you want to know all the options for the gzip command, all you have to do is press man gzip, and you can find the rest. So we're gonna say gzip -d, and specify the files data binary.jz. So let's see what happens. Let's ls, and it looks like we decompressed it, but let's see what it is now. So let's say data binary. Now it's a BZ2 compressed data. Again, since we know it's a BZip2, we have to give it the extension. So we're going to say move data binary, and the extension for our BZip2 file is data binary, and the extension is going to be BZ2, right? And ls, now it's a BZ2 file, now, but since we know it's compressed, we have to decompress it. So we're going to use a BZip2 program, the -d option, and we're going to decompress it. So we're going to say binary BZ2 ls. Now let's find out what it is now. So I'm going to say binary. Now it's a gzip again, so we have to give it the extension. So you get the idea. So it was compressed multiple times, so we have to keep on doing this up until we hopefully find the password. So data binary dot gzip, so jz. Now let's compress it. Data binary. No, that's not. You compress a jzip, so you have to gzip -d data binary.jz. ls. Let's look at what it is now. So it's a binary. It's a tar archive, a PO6 tar archive. So since it's a tar file, we have to give it the extension. So I'm going to say move data binary tar. And for those of you who don't know, there's a tar program that allows us to decompress files. So in order to decompress it, you have to add the -xf option. So this is going to decompress the tar file. So when we say tar, we want to decompress. So this is the option. Again, if you want to know more about the tar program, you can just look at the man page by saying man tar. So we said tar decompress, and we have to specify the file. So the file is going to be data binary.tar. And let's ls now. Now we have this other file that came out, right? So let's just look at what that is. So we say file data 5.bin. It's a tar archive, so we have to change the extension again. So we say data5.bin to data5.tar, and then we're going to press ls again, and then we have a tar file. So we're going to say tar, we're going to decompress, That's how you decompress tar. Is tar xf data 5 dot tar ls. We have data6.bin. We have another file, data6.bin. So we can say file data6.bin to see what it is. It's a bzip. So let's change the extension data6.bin to data6. It's a what again? It's a bzip. So bz2 ls again, and it's a bzip. So let's just data6. No, bzip2 decompress data6.bz2. Okay, ls again. Then we have data, so let's see what that is. Data6, sorry, that's what it is. It's a tar file, so let's give it the extension. So data6 and data6.tar, and then let's open. I think I've been saying I was gonna decompress the tar. You don't decompress the tar. Tar is an archive, so we're just basically we're like it's like unzipping it. So we're basically taking out the content inside of that file, right? So that's what we're doing for the tar. So apologies if I've been saying that earlier on. So we're gonna say data6 and data6.tar. Now we have to do it again. So dash xf data6.tar ls. Then we have data8.bin appearing. So let's find what that is. Data8.bin. It's JZip compressed. So let's just change the extension to show that it's a JZip compressed. Bin data8.jz. And let's decompress it now. So we're gonna say JZip decompress data8.jz, and ls again, and then we have data8. So let's see what that is. Data8. It's ASCII. It's ASCII. It's ASCII. It's ASCII. It's ASCII text. So let's try to read it. Data8, and we finally get the password. So that's a very long level. So that was a headache. Let's just copy that. So now we have the password for Bandit 12, and we can go there. So let's exit. Let's go to Bandit 12. Let's paste in the password. Hit enter. And oh wait, it's not Bandit 12. It's supposed to be Bandit 13. Bandit 13. Bandit 13. Just paste it in. Paste. Now that we're in the Bandit 13, let's just go to that one. Say Bandit 1314. The password for our next level is stored in the etc bandit past bandit 14 and can only be read by user bandit 14. For this level, you don't need to get the next password, but you get a private SSH key that can be used to log into the next level. Okay. Note: localhost is the host name that refers to the machine you're working on. Fine. So if you press ls to see what's inside of bandit 13. We have an SSH key which is private. So this is basically introduction to what private and public SSH keys are. So you know how we've been using username and password to log in as a user on a machine using SSH. There's another way you can log in using SSH, and it's using private and public keys. So how it works is, again, you can read the page that they provided if you want to learn more about it. But it's basically sometimes you will need a private key, and when you try to log in as a certain user, it would have a public key, and it would try to check if the public key on the actual server that we're trying to connect to matches the private key, or not matches, but it's whether this private key belongs to that public key, right? So if those two belong to one another, then it's going to allow us to connect, right? So it's a more secure version, because now if a hacker try to break in, they can't like brute force the password. They can't do any of that because there's no password, right? As long as they don't have this private key, there's no way they can actually connect to the server using SSH. So that's basically how it works. And if you want to use SSH to connect to a server, and you want to use a key, all you have to do is say SSH and then -I, and then you have to specify the key. So SSH key private, and then now the rest is going to be normal. So we want to log in as Bandit 14, and the server was bandit.labs.overthewire.org, and the support was 2220. I'm going to press yes, and we're logged in as Bandit 14. And this is probably going to be the last level I'm going to do. So it says that the password for the next level can be retrieved by submitting the password of the current level to port 30,000 on localhost. So in order to do that, so we need to create another terminal. Just create another terminal, and we need to log in on this terminal as well. So let's just say bandit. Oh, come on, we don't really. What do we do here? So Bandit Labs. First, let's get the password for Bandit. Remember, for every level, the password for that. So if you wanted to get the actual password for Bandit 14, you know how we just logged in using a private key? We don't really have the password for Bandit 14. So if you read the original page on Over the Wire, it said that every level has its password stored in this folder. So /etc bandit pass bandit 14 right here, right? So if I was in 13, I would press 13 and whatever. So this is where the password for the current level is stored. Let's just get that. And this is the password bandit 14. So I'm gonna try to log in using bandit 14's password again. So I don't have the SSH key. I'm logging in from the outside. So you can say bandit labs.overthewire.org, password port 2220, and let's paste in this password, and we're logged in. So this level is basically saying the password for the next level can be retrieved by submitting the password of the current level to port 30,000 on localhost, right? So basically, let's just open up the terminal here. Yeah, so you can use a program called NC. Again, if you want to learn about any program, just use the man page. So if you want to connect to any port using NC or the Swiss Army knife, all you have to do is say NC, and now we have to specify the machine we're trying to connect to, which is localhost. And if you want to know the IP representation of the localhost, it's just 127.0.0.1. But let's just do that again. It's going to be localhost to make it easier. And the port that we're trying to connect to, we have to submit the password on the port 30,000. So let's connect to that one. Port 30,000. Okay. So now we connected to the current machine. So imagine we're actually inside of the server right now. We connected to our own computer on port 30,000. And it's basically saying if we submit the correct password, which we already have, if you paste it here, and press enter, then whatever program is running on port 30,000 on the current computer is going to send us back the password for the next level. So let's just try that. Hit enter. Yeah. So I just realized we don't really need to do that for what I did earlier. I thought I was going to say send it over to connect to that port, and then that we have to send something from that port itself, right? I didn't know it was going to send it by itself, so forget what we did earlier on. This was not needed, so we can just leave that. So we have the password for the next level, and we can log in. And let's just exit here. Exit. Not exit. There's no such thing as that word doesn't exist. So we're gonna go to Bandit 15. Log in, and we are logged in as Bandit 15. So I'm just gonna end the video here because there's a lot of levels, but I'm just leave it here. We did about 15 levels right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's pretty complex, and but I hope you can actually benefit from this video because we went over a lot of the basics. We talked about how to change directories, how to look at content inside of a directory, how to read files, etc. So hopefully this was a good introduction for you guys. I hope you guys benefited, and hope you guys have a good day.